Can it get even worse? You bet it can. Our Chicago Bears will be facing off against the defending champions and Patrick Mahomes in week 3 of the NFL season. Can they pull out an absolute miracle and somehow not lose this game by over 30 points? Watch this video to find out. The NFL action is heating up with big plays and even bigger wins. And if you guys want a place to place wagers on NFL action or other sports like college football, I've actually partnered with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official betting partner of the NFL, to give you guys a great promotion for new customers where if you don't have an account with them already, download the app, use promo code The Windy City while signing up, and if you put $5 on any wager on the app, you actually get $200 in bonus bets instantly. It's that easy. So great promotion if you guys don't have an account with them already. If you already have an account with them, there's also a promotion for you guys to take advantage of. It's called No Sweat Bets, which is available every game day through the month of September. So if you guys want to check that out, you should as well. And they also got something called Same Game Parlays too, which I'm sure a lot of you guys already know about, where you can combine a bunch of different bets in a single game to potentially get a very high payout. Combine passing yards for that player with rushing yards for that player with whatever else they offer. If you combine a bunch of things, the odds can definitely go up there. It's a pretty fun way to take advantage of this app. So again, download the app down below. The link is in my description box in the pinned comment as well. Use promo code The Windy City while signing up. Put $5 on anything and you get $200 in bonus bets. It's that easy. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears pregame prediction video, which I'll be doing before every single Bears game this year. So subscribe to my channel if you guys want my thoughts before and after each Bears game. I'll be honest, it's super tough doing these videos now for you guys because the energy in the fan base is at an all-time low. Okay, a lot of people don't care about the season anymore, which I can understand why, because it seems like the season is already over in week 3. Okay, that's how bad the first 2 weeks have been. We have lost back-to-back games, which should have been winnable games. All the progress that we thought was going to be present in the team has not been there whatsoever. So, man, like, I know a lot of people are already thinking about the NFL draft now, and it's only week 3. Like, that's how low this season has fallen. And, you know, I can't blame any Bears fan for losing interest in the Bears, but being a diehard fan, I'll still be watching every single game. I'll still be rooting for the Bears to somehow turn it around and shock the world. I know the chances of that happening are extremely small at this point, and the chances of Fields being that quarterback that we all thought he would be are also dwindling by the week. But part of being a fan is being delusionally optimistic sometimes, and if there's still games left in the season, I'm still going to have a little bit of faith that the Bears will somehow turn it around, even though I know it's not likely whatsoever. So you can still expect a lot of content from me on this channel, even if we keep on losing games. And, you know, down the road, it might be some draft stuff, you know, after like week 7, week 8, if we, you know, still haven't won that many games. So, you know, it's not only going to be these prediction videos. I know some people are not interested in these videos as much anymore because, you know, we're not a good team, but you can expect other content too on my channel. But putting that aside, guys, let's talk about this upcoming matchup. And what better way to snap out of a 12-game losing streak than by facing off against the defending Super Bowl champions and the best quarterback in the NFL, Patrick Mahomes. Okay, it's a recipe for disaster that we're facing off against this team in Kansas City. Keep in mind, at Arrowhead, I think it's actually called something else now, but whatever the stadium is called now, you know, we're going to be in Kansas City. It's going to be a loud environment, one of the loudest you know, stadiums in the NFL, and we're facing off against a team that, although has not looked like themselves to begin the year, they still have the best quarterback in the NFL, a guy that has 2 Super Bowl rings, and a guy that, you know, obviously the Bears passed up on back in 2017. So gonna be a tough matchup, probably the toughest matchup of the Chicago Bears 2023 season. And you know, the timing for this, again, could not have been any worse because the Bears are coming off 2 demoralizing losses and now going into a game in which it's going to be really damn difficult for them to not get blown out in this game. But talking about the Chiefs, guys, let me briefly break down this matchup and talk about both teams here. I'll talk about the Chiefs offense first of all, and talking about some stats. Okay, usually I don't bring up stats this early in the season, but I still wanted to give you guys a glimpse of what their offense has been like so far. So obviously, offensive coordinator is Matt Nagy, who we Bears fans know pretty well. They rank number 22 in points scored per game, number 8 in yards gained per game, number 7 passing offense, and number 19 rushing offense. So you can see by the numbers, it's not been a great offense so far in Kansas City. Certainly not what we've been used to watching in Kansas City. only ranking 22 in points scored per game. They struggled last week against the Jaguars to score points in week 1 also. Not a good showing out of the offense against the Lions. So, a little bit uncharacteristic for sure. They do have a new play caller, which could be part of the reason for that. Matt Nagy is calling plays, according to my knowledge. Obviously we know that Andy Reid is a master play caller and play designer, but seems like he has handed over play calling duties to Matt Nagy, at least with information available to the public. So that could also be part of the reason why the offense has struggled a little bit, because we know that Matt Nagy does not compare to Andy Reid as a play caller, but they also have limited weapons this year as compared to a couple years ago. Okay, if you look at the receivers, it's not anything special in the receiver department. It's MVS, Marcus Valdes-Scantling, who we know from the Green Bay Packers is kind of a one-trick pony that can run a mean goal route down the field, but besides that deep speed, not really a versatile weapon in any other way. They also have Sky Moore, who they drafted last year, who they've struggled to get involved in this offense. He did have a good week last week, so maybe he builds off of that. He's definitely a speedy, dynamic option as well on this offense. And they also got Kadarius Toney. I totally blanked on his name, but Kadarius Toney, we know he had a terrible week 1. He dropped 3 balls. One of them turned into a pick 6. He has major issues in concentrating at the catch point and being consistent as a playmaker, but he also has, really good lateral speed and lateral quickness, which could be dangerous in space if he can catch the football. So, very dynamic, very explosive guys at receiver, but not anybody that really scares you that much. The guy that does scare you is Travis Kelce, because Travis Kelce, I don't have to talk about him that much. We already know he's the best tight end in the NFL. He's basically a receiver that plays tight end. He's tall, he's athletic, he's fast, he can run any route in the book, and him and Patrick Mahomes have developed a chemistry where Mahomes always knows where Kelce is going to be. Kelce always knows where Mahomes is going to throw the football, so that chemistry is very dangerous to deal with, especially when you're dealing with elite players like Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. So, last week Kelce only had 27 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. He was coming back from an injury, so you can look for him to get more involved in this game against the Bears, because last week he was not happy with his performance. But talking about the offensive line a little bit, their offensive line has struggled, I'd say, at tackle. They have 2 new tackles in here, Jawan Taylor on the right side and Donovan Smith on the left side. They've allowed a lot of pressure so far in 2 games. The interior has been really good. They got Creed Humphrey, a Pro Bowler, and they got, Joe Thuney, and also the guy they drafted a couple years ago, Trey Smith. So tackle spot definitely very weak, interior really good, and we'll see if the Bears can attack those tackles, because they definitely have a lot of deficiencies in their game. And lastly, talking about Patrick Mahomes, I don't have to say anything about this guy, which you guys don't know already, because this guy is the best quarterback by far in the NFL. He can make any throw in the book. He can rip a deep ball for 40-50 yards. He can make a sidearm throw in between defenders. He can avoid a sack and somehow make a crazy throw that you didn't even know there was anybody open on that play. Like, he can do things that only Patrick Mahomes can do. So, gonna be really difficult to stop this man. Obviously, he's not had the start to this season like he has other seasons, right? Like, his stats are not anything crazy so far this year. He did have 300 passing yards in the last game, but against the Lions definitely did struggle at times, at least statistically. A lot of it was not his fault. Those receivers were that bad in that game. So, we'll see if Mahomes can really get it going against the Bears with how bad the Bears defense is. He probably will. So, that's the Chiefs offense. Talking about the Bears defense, Chiefs defense. They got defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo, who is a guy that runs a pretty blitz-heavy, pretty aggressive defense. So, you can expect a lot of blitzing in this game. Talking about their stats, they rank number 3 in points allowed per game, number 13 in yards allowed per game, number 19 against the pass, and number 12 against the run. And they have been a really good red zone defense. You guys can see they rank only number 3 in points allowed per game. So they've definitely been elite in that regard in preventing points being scored because of Steve Spagnuolo's pressure packages at the goal line and also his coverages at the goal line. They've been pretty good in coverage down there. And like I mentioned, they do blitz a lot too, so this could be a pretty aggressive game plan for the Chiefs, especially against a quarterback in Justin Fields that's definitely struggling right now to see the field. You can expect them to blitz a lot and blitz their defensive backs as well. They're not going to do Justin Fields any favors in making things easy for him. Okay, they've been a really good defense so far, and that's probably going to continue in this game. Talking about their best playmaker on defense, it's definitely Chris Jones. Okay, this guy is a absolute beast, and I was hoping that he wouldn't play in this game because he had a contract dispute with the Chiefs in which he did sit out the first game of the year. He sat out all of preseason and the OTA period as well, but he got his contract, he got his money at least for 1 year, and he's going to be back for this game. like he was last game, and last game he had 1.5 sacks, so already back to form, already probably one of the best defensive tackles, if not the best, besides Aaron Donald in the NFL, and it's going to be almost impossible to block this guy because the aggression he plays with at the line of scrimmage, the power, the speed combo that he has, it's very, very rare and very impossible to find a way to game plan against that. So very scared to go up against Chris Jones. He's a one-man wrecking crew, basically, talking about the rest of their defense. There's not too many big names, I'd say, like, especially in the secondary. There's not many guys that are, like, household names that people would know about, getting crazy interception numbers or making the Pro Bowl or anything. It's a pretty young, pretty new secondary, I'd say, especially at cornerback. But they do have a second-year guy in Trent McDuffie who has had a very good start to the season, only allowing 58 yards in coverage in 2 games, and he's been probably the number 1 corner on the field so far. So McDuffie is definitely having a solid year too. Besides that, they got L'Jarius Sneed and Joshua Williams at cornerback, both pretty young guys. So maybe they could be prone to some mistakes deep in the secondary because they are that young, but the pass rush has been getting home pretty quickly on this Chiefs defense, even without Chris Jones. Okay, even against the Lions, they got a lot of pressure in that game with guys like George Karlaftis, who they drafted last year. They also got Felix Anudike-Uzomah, they drafted this year. So they have a lot of bodies on the D-line, even besides Chris Jones, that could make life pretty difficult on the Chicago Bears offense. Talking about the Bears offense then, the numbers are not pretty. We ranked number 22 in points scored per game, number 28 in yards gained per game, number 25 passing offense, and number 21 rushing offense. And that rushing number especially concerns me a lot because at least last year we were running the football very effectively and very well, but this year that run game has not even been there. So like that identity that the Bears had last year, it's not even there anymore because partly Luke Getsy refuses to run Justin Fields at all, one of the most dynamic runners of the football in the sport at quarterback. He refuses to design quarterback runs for that guy, basically only making him a pocket passer, which again, I do understand this year Fields did have to grow as a pocket passer, so that's why he's putting him in more of those situations, but there should be some type of a balance here between running and passing, which there's not any balance whatsoever. And although the passing numbers have increased, it's still not a good passing offense at all, only ranking number 25 in passing yards so far this year. Last year it was 32 at this point, so again, getting better, but not good enough with all the upgrades we made in the offseason. Okay, DJ Moore and Chase Claypool did get involved in the last game, which was a positive. DJ Moore did have 100 receiving yards. Chase Claypool also had a pretty fantastic touchdown and a few other catches. But guys, with how many weapons we have now on this offense, with Cole Kmet here too, with Darnell Mooney, who actually went down with an injury. Hopefully Mooney is fine. But drafting Tyler Scott, like there's too many weapons on this team to still rank only as a number 25 passing offense. So the quarterback and the offensive coordinator have to be better. At this point, I've basically lost all hope in Luke Getsy. I don't think this guy knows how to call plays or how to scheme up plays because he makes such dumb mistakes that I don't understand why any offensive coordinator would do that. Like last game, we called back-to-back screens backed up in our own territory. So the Buccaneers veteran defense obviously knew what was coming. Even after the game in the post-game presser, whoever it was, I think Levante David said that everybody on the defense knew that was going to be a screen pass. So even though it was not a good throw by Fields, our offensive coordinator definitely is not doing him any favors too at times by limiting his mobility and calling such dumb sequences of plays. But talking about Fields, guys, he also has to be better. Okay, at this point, time is running out, excuses are running out, and if he does not pick up his level, play fast, if he does not hit these open guys downfield, keep his head up, and at least give his playmaker some chances, he's not going to be on this team for much longer, as much as I hate to say that. Now, I still do believe a lot in his talent and in his abilities, so I still think there's potential to turn it around, but I'm just worrying if it's too late at this point to become the quarterback that we hoped he would be, because right now he's not even hitting any open guys downfield. He's just running into sacks at times, which is very, very concerning. So quarterback has to be better. Offensive coordinator also has to be better. And it's just a complete mess right now in the Bears offense, like it has been basically my entire life. Talking about the Bears defense then, it's not much better. Okay, looking at the numbers, they rank number 31 in points allowed per game, number 29 in yards allowed per game, number 27 passing defense, and number 16 run defense. And they did have a stronger red zone performance last week. So in the red zone, they were holding up strong and actually coming together with consecutive stops in the red zone, which does give us a little bit of optimism at least, but they still have been allowing way too many yards in every game. It seems like the pass rush is still not getting home, even though last game they were pretty close to getting home multiple times. Okay, both Yannick Ngakoue and Dominic Robinson were like this close to getting sacks, but every single time Baker Mayfield found a way to spin out of the sack or just like dodge it. So our guys have to be better in actually finishing those sacks and getting the quarterback into the dirt, because if you don't against a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, he's going to rip you up down the field. So not a good thing that we can't actually finish these plays. I hope we find a way to do that pretty soon. I do want to talk about Andrew Billings, our defensive tackle, though, because he probably has been one of the better players on the defensive line, which I feel like most Bears fans have not been talking about. Because if you look at his tape last game and look at the stats too, like he actually had a few pressures last week. He also had some nice plays against the run. So that big physical presence on the inside has definitely been a positive on the Bears defense. We'll see if Andrew Billings can do anything more than just eat up space and get pressure, right? I mean, he's not going to be a guy that probably gets too many sacks because he's not that fast. He does have the power and the physicality though. So, you know, again, against the run, he has been improving the Bears' run defense at least, because the Bears do rank number 16 against the run, which is still a big positive as compared to last year when we ranked almost like dead last or like bottom 5, bottom 10 for the vast majority of the year against the run. So he's a bright spot in the Bears defensive line, but we need the other guys to step up as well. Justin Jones has not been good to begin the year, and this guy talked a lot in the offseason about how different this year was going to be, but so far his play has been the same as last year, if not worse. And we need some of the young guys too, like Jervon Dexter, Zach Pickens, to step up and make some plays. I know they're not playing as much as the starters so far, but whenever they are rotated in, they have to find a way to make the most out of those snaps and get some pressure on the quarterback, get some hands up, do something, right? Because right now the defensive line definitely is not doing nearly enough, and it's a lot of the same as we saw last year. So that's the Chicago Bears defense. Talking now about my 3 keys to a Bears victory. Okay, how can the Chicago Bears miraculously win this game? And key number 1 is going to be for Justin Fields to be better at midfield in this game. If you guys saw last game, I think the announcers also brought this up, but every time the Bears got the ball to midfield around the 40, 50-yard line, Justin Fields really did struggle, okay? That's where he was missing the open guys downfield, obviously because there is less space to work with there, so maybe he was more hesitant in trying to attempt passes because he thought they would be picked, but he missed some wide open guys around midfield, which could have been touchdowns, could have been big touchdowns, or at least big plays, right? So Fields has to be better in seeing the field, especially at midfield, because I think he has struggled in that area of the field. Talking about the second key then, it's going to be to have a miracle performance from the defense. Okay, I can't find many ways to logically think of the Bears stopping Patrick Mahomes, so the only thing we can pray for at this point is a miracle, okay? It's a damn miracle from our young secondary, our defensive line. Like, they're gonna have to show something on tape that they haven't shown yet. I'm really worried that, especially with our safeties maybe gone in this game. I'm not sure about the status of Eddie Jackson. I'm recording this video on Monday, so entirely possible Eddie Jackson does not play in this game. Jaquan Brisker also was banged up, so safety depth is definitely concerning. And with a quarterback like Mahomes that loves to throw it deep, could be a recipe for disaster, but the Bears do have to find a way to stop him somehow and get some pressure in his face and get him down into the dirt. And I, again, can't logically think of how it's going to happen, but maybe somehow it happens. Key number 3 then is going to be to not play scared in this game. So far, the Chicago Bears, when they're out there on the football field, there's no sense of confidence in anybody, okay? It seems like they're waiting to get destroyed by the opposition. It seems like there's no swagger, no sense of urgency anytime they're on the football field, so that has to change in this game if they want even the tiniest chance at beating the Chiefs, the defending champions, okay? They have to have a different mindset in this game, and Eberflus has to coach these guys up better as well in terms of, you know, being more confident out there, because especially Justin Fields too, like Fields is not confident out there. If your quarterback is not confident, the rest of the team also is not going to be confident. So it starts with Justin Fields, it goes to everybody else. Quit playing scared in this game. And finally, it's time for my score prediction for this game. Who do I have winning this matchup? And guys, I have the Chicago Bears rolling into Kansas City and coming out of there with a loss by the score of 40-21. Yes, I'm predicting an absolute blowout here because, guys, logically speaking, I cannot find a way in which the Bears are going to win this game. Okay, obviously it's the NFL. Anything is possible. It's any given Sunday. And watch the Bears somehow win this after I've been criticizing them the entire week and picking them to lose by almost 20 points. That'll be the funniest thing ever if they somehow win this and finally become the team that we all thought they would be entering this year. But I don't see how that's going to happen. We're severely outmatched on both sides of the football. Their quarterback is much better than our quarterback. Their coaching staff is much better than our coaching staff. Besides Matt Nagy. Matt Nagy is not that good, but everybody else on that Kansas City coaching staff is much better than our coaching staff. And I think the bottom could fall out in this game. Like, this could be one of those 2014 Mark Trestman style losses, because that's where this team is headed right now. Okay, coming off 2 embarrassing losses, why should I pick the Bears to win this game when they have shown me nothing in the first 2 weeks to make me believe in this team? So until they show me something, I'm not going to be picking the Bears to win anymore, because they don't deserve that, okay? And offensive MVP in this game, I'm going to be going with DJ Moore. It seems like DJ Moore always produces, even with how bad everybody else is. So I'm picking DJ Moore to go off again, maybe for like 75 receiving yards, maybe a touchdown too. Defensive MVP, I'm going to be going with Jalen Johnson. He's had a good start to the year. It seems like he's always solid in coverage down the field, and maybe he gets a pick in this game. That'd be pretty nice, but otherwise just getting a few plays batted down in coverage probably would be the best performance out of a defense that I'm predicting to give up 40 points in this game. So leave your comments down below, guys. Let me know what you guys think the score of this game is going to be. And it really does suck, guys, that we have been reduced to picking the Bears to get blown out in week 3 already. Like, I thought this was going to be a much more fun season. I thought we'd be so hyped every single week, but it's a Chicago Bears, and until they prove differently, you have to expect to be disappointed, because that's what this franchise usually does. Again, hopefully I'm wrong. It breaks my heart to pick the Bears to lose, especially to get blown out, but logically speaking, that's all I could really do right now. Leave your comments down below. As always, bear down.